Hey everyone, I'm Ponera and I'm here with Mearkat. We're just doing a quick little episode to answer a few emails and questions that I frequently get while doing this series. So Mearkat's basically going to ask the question and I'll be answering for you guys. Okay, so go ahead.
Everybody wants to ask, what's the deal with the ant obsession?
Well, the ant obsession actually comes because, as I'm sure if you follow the series quite closely, you realize by now that the Zerg are what's called a superorganism. And what's really cool about ants is that they're extremely interdependent. As I learned even just today, a simple observation by a really awesome biologist by the name of Mark Moffat, I believe. Yeah, Mark Moffat. One ant is basically not functional. Same with the Zergling, as like what we saw when the Overmind went down. They kind of just derped around and really couldn't function or do anything. But then when you get them roaming in packs, this is where they kind of differ a little bit. But when you get ants roaming in packs and hordes and swarms and things like that, that's when they can start to become quite cohesive and quite, I guess, tactical and strategic. To the point of being able to dismantle things like frogs or overrun entire villages of people. So yeah, there's that sort of comparison where you've got the swarm, you've got this sort of communal hive mind thing going on, and you've got a vast array of different morphologies within each hive of both the Zerg and the ants. So they're really, in my opinion, the best sort of um, proxy we can use to sort of string together some more from the lore and the unit models themselves. So that's kind of where I'm going. Plus, I think ants are really cool. So they're some of my favorite animals. So yeah.
A lot of people also want to know what are your qualifications.
Okay, this is probably the most frequently asked question. Basically, I don't have a PhD or a master's. I've just got an undergrad degree with a double major in earth sciences and biology. The earth sciences was actually mostly paleontology and a bit of stratigraphy, whereas the biology was quite broad. I did everything from human osteology to mammalogy, a lot of entomology, freshwater invertebrates, and comparative anatomy, of course, just dissecting many animals. And I hope you can hear my cat in the background. I just fed him, but he's still hungry because he's fat. So how appropriate that he would come on this episode. Um, I've also worked in paleontology for a number of years, having gone to several World Heritage sites, including the Burgess Shale, where I took part in excavations as well as did hike guiding. And I actually took part in field work in Dinosaur Park as well as many places all over Alberta. I haven't really gone out of the province because, hey, there's no need. Alberta is one of the best places on the planet, if not the best, depending on how big of scope you want to go. Mongolia is pretty good, so is China and some other places. So yeah. I've also done a lot of breeding of animals, from everything from cockroaches to placental skinks. When I say placental, I do mean they're like 99% placental by percent of nutrient provided. And I've even had two-headed reptiles be born, which was really, really cool. I've done this is actually kind of more evolutionary biology and comparative anatomy, but I did an undergrad literature review of the evolution of limb reduction, which is basically where like you have snakes reducing their limbs and some lizards reducing their limbs and whales even reducing their limbs. Um, and it actually had some it was pretty interesting anyway, not really much surprising results because a lot of the work has been done sometime in the 80s anyway. I also did an undergrad thesis about the comparing snake vertebrae from the most primitive living snake to one of the earliest snakes. Big surprise, there's not much difference and not much could be actually, I guess, pieced together. I've also actually done courses in insect pathology, medical and veterinary entomology, and some other pretty hardcore things like that. I even had a week-long semi-learning, semi-drinking session at Bamfield, which is a world-renowned, I believe it's a World Heritage Site now, a research center on the west coast of Canada, north of Victoria. I've also worked for Body Worlds, which was really cool. I was just an interpreter, but basically being able to work around those remains day after day was really, really awesome. So I'm quite familiar with that kind of stuff as well. And, you know, when there's questions that I can't answer, I do bring in, I've got a wide range of friends, everyone from people in their PhD programs to doing entomology, to mycology, comparative anatomy. So, I do ask around if I don't know the answer. So it's not basically just arm waving. I'm actually, drawing on a lot of experience, from dissecting animals to breeding cockroaches and everything in between, to try to take a look at what we can see of the anatomy of these creatures and sort of go, okay, well, this makes sense and this doesn't make sense. And let's see, basically using the basic principle of uniformitarianism, which effectively it's basically saying, the same forces apply today as applied in the past and will continue to apply in the future. So, we can actually sort of use the present as a key to the past and the future and even to life on other planets, which, is probably quite ubiquitous. So, yeah, anyway.
Okay. So, we're going on to the final questions from the viewers. I do have a question after this, but,
Okay.
why is there a Zurich bias on this channel?
Well, the reason is because, I really am a biology expert, and by and large, there's not a whole lot to look at with the Protoss and the Terran. The Protoss are extremely conservative in their morphology, and what we can see is extremely human-like. So there's not really a whole lot we can go and say, oh, well, they've got extra arms, or, they've got these weird spikes on their back, or whatever. They don't really have that. So there's not a lot I can do, and I'm not really a physics major, nor do I know much about engineering. Like, I can barely even work my own car. So, it really isn't, I don't feel appropriate for me in the spirit of this channel to personally go on and say, oh, well, this is cool about the Terran Goliath. Well, that would really be arm waving. And that's not the purpose of it, where the purpose is to sort of use the context of anatomy, for example, and educate people as well as have some fun with it. So that's where we've actually got really lucky with a lot of volunteers. People like Zappy, who actually he is a physics major and he's quite sharp. So he is sort of a really cool guy to talk to about Protoss technology. And I'm hoping in the future maybe we'll get a mechanic or somebody with some sort of mechanical engineering degree or something to come in and talk about Terran stuff. Which that would be so awesome. So we're working on it. If you want to volunteer, by the way, good chance to say. If you want to volunteer and have this expertise, or even not, I mean, even if you're just sort of interested, feel free to volunteer, send emails. And I'm actually going to start up a brand new email address. I don't know what it is, but I'll post it as soon as I get around to making it, so that there's more of like a public forum for you guys to complain directly to me about things or whatever. So yeah, okay. And so you had a question as well.
It was actually more of just a closing note, because I think people would like to see more questions and answers videos. So if you guys want more of those, you guys should post it in the comment section, because and hit that like and subscribe button and share with your friends, obviously.
Yeah, you guys are doing a great job on that, actually. We've had quite a few new subscriptions and actually more posts as well, for people. We had one guy do like a sort of an armchair scientist thing, drive-by trolling. He ended up deleting the message, which was too bad. And we just have a lot of comments about the lore and comments about what other people have observed that we may have missed. So it's really cool to get more opinions and more sets of eyes and work together. I mean, I didn't know anybody that participates in the show except for Persuvius before the show. Everyone else, and River, I knew River before as well, but everyone else I've met in the process of doing this. So really don't feel like you're going to be shut out and that this is some, elitist clique or something. It's really not. So yeah, just post your observations and things like that. And the more times a question is posted, the more likely I am to actually directly tackle it and say, okay, well, here's the deal with this, here's the deal with that, and things like that. So yeah. So I guess that's it for this sort of question and answer episode. Thanks for listening, and yeah, make sure to post your opinions and feedback.